In this video, we're going to be setting up your recruitment business. We're going to do so by defining the reporting relationships, or sometimes termed by others as the organizational hierarchy. You can see here that I'm logged in as Hamish. Hamish is an account administrator, but he is employed as if we look at his appointment, he's employed as the general manager in the head office. This is his appointment. The appointment decides where you sit in the organizational relationship. You can look here in your structure and we can see it graphically represented. Hamish Brown as the general manager has Susan Thompson and Peter Turnbull reporting to him. He can also drill down further and we can see that Susan herself has 3 employees reporting to her. Now Susan, when she logs on, can't see Hamish, can't see Peter, because those 2 employees are either on the same level or above her in the organizational hierarchy. You can sort of see that when I jump in here, and I'll change now to Susan Thompson. We're looking at Susan Thompson. She looks at her employee list, only see the employees reporting to her, and then the structure, she sees the structure and she sees those below her. She can, as I said, she can't see the ones on the same level or above her. So that's sort of what we call our control list. You know, when Susan logs in, it always checks to see who is employed in the appointments that report to the business development manager, and that then decides which employees will be presented to her. So let's go back and have a look how we defined all of this. We define all of this in the settings menu, worksites. The first thing we do is decide the worksites. Worksites are your place of business. For example, in Australia, you could very well have your recruitment business situated in each state in Australia, and therefore you would have worksites called New South Wales branch, Queensland branch. And then once you've defined your worksites, and you can add as many as you want, there's no restrictions. Once you've defined those worksites, you then define the positions that are going to be working in that worksite. So essentially in the head office, in this example, we've got a sourcing agent, general manager, payroll administration, business development, and recruiter. And there's no restrictions to adding more positions, and there's certainly no restrictions on how many people would be employed in these different roles. There are no limits there. If we have a look at the Albany branch, we can see that it only has the 1 position. So maybe it's a small branch, it's got a recruiter and that person doesn't do anything else. So now we've defined the places of business where we work, our locations. We've attached the positions that are working in those locations at the moment, because we can add more positions later. Again, there are no restrictions. The final step is to decide the reporting relationship. So you have a managing position and the managed positions. So in this case, the head office general manager manages the head office business development manager and the head office payroll administration user. Likewise, the business development manager also has people reporting to them. The Albany recruiter, the head office sourcing agent, and the head office recruiter. And you can see here, therefore, that there's also no restriction that says a manager can only manage appointments in the same worksite. That is certainly not a restriction. You can see here that even though this position is located in the head office, the Albany branch still reports to that person in that position. So if we have a look back at the structure, we can see here that Hamish Brown has Susan Thompson reporting to her. Susan Thompson is the business development manager. And you'll remember when we look at our employees, so that's Jenny. We look at our employee Susan Thompson here, you can see that her appointment is where it's defined. Susan Thompson, business development manager, has Hamish Brown as her manager. Now, what we specified was the business development manager reports to the general manager. So the question you might ask is, why then why don't we just have, general manager here? Well, the reason we don't is because it's possible that you could have more than 1 person employed in the position that is the managing position. So you could have 2 general managers, for example. When you do have 2 general managers, you need to select which of those general managers is the manager of Susan. And that's why you potentially could get more employees presented in this lookup, because you have more than 1 person employed in the managing position. So there is your quick little video on the reporting relationships, the effect of those reporting relationships. Remember that a user, when they log in, can only see their employees that are below them in the org structure. How you can create the various places of business, create as many positions as you want, then create the relationship between those positions in the organizational structure, and then you're able to view it graphically as we're doing here. Thank you very much. Hopefully this video explains how you can create your organization and reporting relationships. Thank you.